a comfortable seat, I invite you to close the eyes if it's comfortable for you. Maybe place the hands right on the tops of your thighs. And then just start to come into the breath. Taking gentle inhales through the nose. And then exhaling also through the nose. So we'll just do that a few times. We're not manipulating the breath. We're just giving our mind and our mind a moment to catch up with our body as we come into our yoga practice this afternoon. We'll start to deepen the breath. We'll take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale fully. Just notice how good that feels. Inhale through the nose and exhale. And just let the breath rest. As we settle in this afternoon, I invite you to just bring your awareness to any sounds that are around you. Maybe there's some sound from the outside. Maybe there are family members in the house. Just notice. I invite you to bring your attention to the temperature in your room. Temperature warm? Is it cool? Does it feel damp? And again, we're just noticing our surroundings. So part of our practice today will be a practice of mindfulness where we are paying attention on purpose, but without judgment. And when the mind begins to wander, we will use our breath to come back to the present moment. So you'll hear me reference a lot about the breath. I invite you to put one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. And just deepen those inhales. Maybe inhale to the count of 4, 2, 3, 4. And then let the exhale be a little bit longer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And inhale. 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So before we begin our practice, I invite you to maybe think of one thing that you're grateful for today. And all the craziness that's swirling around us right now, we're all in the midst of this global crisis. But despite all of that, there's still joy to be found. And there's still gratitude to be had. So just take a moment and just think of one thing that you're grateful for in this very moment. And I invite you to use that as an anchor for your practice today. The mind starts to wander, you can come back to your anchor, which is that one thing to be grateful for, or you can always come back to the breath. Take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale. And with the eyes still closed, I invite you to bring the palms of the hands together and just rub the palms together as fast as you can until you can feel the heat. And when it feels good, we'll take those palms and just place them over our eyes. Place the tips of the fingers right above the eyebrow. And let your head just rest in your palms. And just feel the heat generated from your body, appreciating the life force of breath that flows through your body. And then maybe we take our fingers and we start to make little circles around our eyebrows. And maybe we bring the fingers to our temples and just give our temples just a gentle, compassionate massage and rub. And we'll take our fingers over where our upper jaw and our lower jaw connect, down to where the lower teeth are. And then maybe we take our fingers around the base of our neck, just under where the skull connects to the spine. And you'll feel a little indentation back there. So just give it a nice strong massage with the tips of the fingers. These are places that we often don't give attention to, but they're places where we hold tension and we can hold stress. So we'll come back around to our jaw, up to our temple, over the forehead. And when we get to the eyebrows, we'll trace the eyebrows from inner to outer and pause. Trace the eyebrows from inner to outer and then pause. Beautiful. Now you can open the eyes and release the hands. And we'll begin to transition to our first shape. So if you have that blanket, I invite you to fold the blanket in maybe a triangle. And then we'll come and we'll sit right on the edge of the blanket. We'll bring the soles of our feet together with the knees apart. If you have a block, you might want to put a block under the knees to support the knees, or a book can also do the same thing. And we're going to take our forehead, our face, and we're going to fold towards our feet. So our shapes are in this beautiful diamond. So we'll take an inhale and then exhale and fold forward. And fold to the point where you feel a little tension or resistance. That is called your edge. And once you find your edge, just let the back body round, let the head be heavy. Just let it hang. Let the arms just rest wherever they naturally fall. And then take that releasing inhale and exhale. And allow yourself to settle into this beautiful shape. It's called Baddha Konasana. It's also called butterfly. And the purpose of the pose is to give some tension and stress to the low back. But you also may feel some tension on the inner thighs or the outer hips. But feeling the tension is good, but feeling pain is not. So listen to the body and honor our body. So many of you may be familiar with Eckhart Tolle. He wrote the book called The Power of Now. And I love so many of the things that he says, and I use them a lot in my classes just as a reminder of stay in the present and to be in the here and now. He says to be aware of little quiet things. You need to be quiet inside. A high degree of alertness is required. Be still, look, listen, and be present. Be still, look, listen, and be present. So in this crazy, frenetic world that we're in, we're always going from one thing to the next. But our yoga practice, and specifically our yin practice, it gives us a moment to stop. And I often say it lets our mind catch up with itself. It gives us a moment to connect our mind, our body, and our energetic body, and to be still. It's a practice that prepares you for meditation. And we've often heard the phrase yin and yang. You can't have one without the other. Yin is dark, low, passive, yielding, slow. Where yang practice is light, hot, outside, upward, and obvious. But like light and dark, you can't have one without the other. So something is more yin relative to something else, or something is more yang relative to something that's yin. So start to deepen the breath. Take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale fully. Notice how the body just naturally softens and maybe goes just a little bit deeper into the shape with the exhale. And so as you're ready, we'll push ourselves up one vertebra at a time until we come to an upright position, letting the head be the last thing to come. We bring our hands to our knees and stretch the feet out long. Maybe open the eyes. And then we'll just point and flex the feet and take our feet into a circle. And maybe go in the opposite direction. And we're going to begin the transition to our next shape. And so our next shape is called Banasana or Banana Asana. It looks like a letter C. It looks like a crescent. And the way we get into it, you come onto your mat from vertical long ways. Remove all of my little accoutrements out of the thing. So we'll lay down in the middle of our mat. But before you lay down, I want to show you my hands. So I'm going to take my hands behind my head. And I'm going to lift my upper body and then lift the upper body and place it to the upper right corner of the mat. And then I'm going to walk my feet to the lower right corner of the mat. And maybe I take that left ankle and I cross it over the right. And then this is our shape. We take that releasing inhale and exhale. The arms can stay behind the head, or they can come out into a letter T, or they can come down onto the belly. Just whatever is comfortable for you. And in the shape, you may feel some sensation through the armpit, maybe down that left side, maybe even across that left hip flexor. All of those things are good. So this is a beautiful stretch to open up those spaces in our ribs called the intercostal spaces. And we open up the spaces so that our diaphragm can have room to move and help with our breath, moving the breath through the body. We have so many organs right here in our midsection. And we stay crunched up all the time. So we just open up that side body, give it a little space so the organs can have room to play. And if you are an avid walker, or even if you sit all day at a desk, this can feel really good because it's the opposite of what you're doing all day and lengthening that area on that left side of the body. So to get back to our yin practice, it doesn't really ask much of us. It asks that we come into the shape, which is where we are. We're into the crescent or letter C shape. It asks that we come to our edge, right when you can feel some tension. And then it asks for us to be still. And in the stillness is where the magic happens. And there's science to support. When we hold a pose for more than a minute, it takes a minute for our brain to catch up to what we're doing. It allows us to begin to get beneath the muscle and start to work into that connective tissue, which we don't often. Everything we do is so often based on muscle, but this is a practice that goes deeper in the deep tissues, kind of like a massage. You can think of it as that. So check in with the body and notice what you're feeling. Maybe you're feeling something you've never felt before. Maybe it's familiar. Whatever it is you feel, just appreciate it and don't judge it. Breathe slowly in and breathe slowly out. Your breath is a pathway of peace, moving softly through each day. You can breathe and just be. So start to deepen the breath. And take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale fully. Just notice how the body just melts just a little bit more onto the mat. And so we're going to move back to the center of our mat. So we'll uncross the legs, lift the head, and bring it to the center. And then we'll pause in the Shavasana-like shape. Maybe just let the arms rest along the side of the body and let the feet fall out. however they naturally do. And just notice. Maybe one leg feels a little longer than the other. Maybe there's a warmth on that left side of the body that wasn't there 4 minutes ago. So we'll take our hands once again behind our head. We'll lift our shoulders and place our shoulders and our head to the upper left side of the mat. And then we'll walk our feet over to the lower left and maybe take that right ankle and cross it over the left ankle. We can let our hands and arms stay behind our head, or we can bring them down and stretch them out long, or rest them on our abdomen. Or you can take and grab opposite elbows above the head. So do whatever feels good. And so you may feel some sensation through that right armpit. Down the right side of the body, opening up those intercostal spaces on the right side of the rib cage. Maybe a sensation over that right hip flexor. And if you're feeling any of that, great. You're doing the pose. Notice the quality of the breath. Throughout our practice, we want our breath to remain soft and smooth. If our breath starts to feel like we're walking along grounds or walking a parking lot, then that means we need to make some adjustments. Give yourself permission to just be without expectation, without striving. And give yourself permission to really be in the moment, feeling the flow of the breath in and out of the nose. And one of the reasons we focus on the breath is because the breath is a gateway to decreasing our anxiety. It helps us to tap into that parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. And throwing the science aside, our breath is just practical. It's portable. It's personal. And it's always available to you. So at any time, you can close the eyes if you're at a stoplight or washing dishes or brushing your teeth. And you can come to the breath, taking deep inhales through the nose, and then allowing the breath to just flow out of the lips. And it'll bring you back to the here and now. So start to deepen the breath. Take that deep inhale and then exhale fully. And pause at the end of the exhale and just notice how the body just melts into your mat or your floor or your rug or whatever you're laying on right now. And then when you're ready, I invite you to bring the body and the feet back to the center of the mat. And then stay stretched out long. And just like we did before, notice what you feel now. Maybe that other side feels a bit more equal to the left side. Maybe there's a warmness flowing through both sides of the body. So I invite you to bring the feet to the mat with the knees up. And we'll just windshield wiper the knees from left to right, maybe 2 times in each direction. And then we'll bring the knees to the chest and give it a good squeeze. And we'll rock from left to right. Maybe take the knees in a circle. And then reverse the circle, massaging the low back and the sacrum area. And then it might feel good to rock forwards and backwards. And we can rock upwards to an upright position where we begin to transition to our next shape. So we're going to start with the left. We'll start with the right foot extended. And when that right foot extends, let the foot fall however it naturally will. So that depends on how our femur fits into our hip socket. I am externally rotated, so my foot falls out, but yours may fall in, and that's perfectly normal. Bring that left leg, bring the sole of the foot to the inside of the right leg. And we're going to bring our torso down towards our leg. There's no expectation to be able to come all the way down, but just go as far as your body will allow you to. And then once again, once you find your edge, take that releasing inhale and exhale. And you can just let the hands just rest lightly on the floor, just wherever they naturally come to. And let the head be heavy. You may feel a little traction along the back of the neck. So as we come into this half butterfly shape, you may feel some tension along the right outer hip, along the hamstring, behind the knee, into the calf, and maybe all the way into the arch. Any of that are places where you may feel it. And then if you bring your attention to your low back, you'll notice how the sensation crosses over the low back. And you may feel some sensation going up the left side of the spine, from the base all the way up to the neck area. So all of those are subtle sensations, but we're getting underneath the muscle into that connective tissue. So for the next minute or so, I'm going to start talking less and just really allowing you to enjoy the stillness that you've created for yourself in your sanctuary at home. And allow you to be still not only in body but in mind. So start to deepen the breath. Taking a deep inhale through the nose and exhaling fully. We can begin to push ourselves up to an upright position. Once we get there, we'll just pause. And then we'll bring that left leg and stretch it out long in front. Again, point, flexing the feet. And then we're going to come back onto the mat. And we're going to continue to work with this right leg. So we're going to come down to the mat, letting our feet be on the mat with the knees up. And we're going to take that right foot in the right hand and just grab the bottom of the foot, the sole of the foot, and bring that knee back towards the right armpit. And you may recognize this to be happy baby, except it's half happy baby. And so we can take this left leg and let it stay right here. This might be what your practice calls for today. If you have the flexibility in that left leg, you can stretch the left leg out long. And that's a nice place. The left arm can rest just on the abdomen. The target area is the right hip, complete hip. So you may feel it in the outer hip, you may feel it in the hamstring, you may even feel some sensation along the back. So with this next set of shapes, we're going to just move briefly into our hips and kind of wake up and get that synovial fluid moving in our hip sockets. Many of us are working from home. We may be sitting more than we normally do. So putting a little tension in the hip area could possibly feel really good about now. We have about 40 seconds left. And as you stay in the hold, you may notice that right leg is actually maybe going a little bit deeper, probably deeper than you thought. So on the next exhale, we're going to very compassionately take that left leg and place the right ankle over the left knee. And this might feel good for you right here. Or you can lift that left leg towards your face and thread the arms in between and grab a hold to that left hamstring. Let the left calf and foot just let them hang naturally. So once again, having the foot on the mat, just crossing the ankle over the knee is perfect if it works for your body. If you'd like a little bit more tension through the hip area, then lift that left leg towards the base. And this is called the figure four. And the target area is still that right hip. So some of you may be familiar with pigeon and a more active practice. And so this is really pigeon turned upside down. It's taking that pressure off of the knees and allowing us to focus on the hips, which is where we want to focus. Got about 30 seconds left. Let those shoulders soften. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And we'll lower that left foot to the mat. We'll take our left hand and just grab on top of that right foot. And we'll just take the whole bundle of leg and come over to the left, keeping our glutes glued to the mat, keeping the upper body on the mat. And we'll take our arms out to the side like a letter T, or you can bring them above your head like a goalpost. Or you can rest them on your abdomen. So this is a gentle twist of the mid-spine. And again, working that right hip flexor and that right hip. We'll start to deepen the breath. We'll take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale fully. Just settle into the twist just for about 10 to 15 seconds more. And then when you're ready, we can bring the whole bundle of legs back to the center, unwinding, bringing the feet to the mat. And then we'll do those windshield wipers left to right once again like we did before. And then maybe we bring the knees to the chest, rocking from side to side, massaging the sacrum, massaging the low back. And then we can rock forwards and backwards to rock ourselves upwards to an upright position. And we'll begin the sequence on the other side. And so we'll start with that left leg extended. And again, the left leg will fall out or fall in depending on how it sits into that hip socket. We'll bring that sole of the right foot to the inside of the left leg. And then we just begin to fold over the extended leg. And let the head be heavy. And let the hands just fall where they naturally will. And then take that releasing inhale and exhale and really give yourself permission to soften even more as we take the shape of a half butterfly. So you may feel the sensation through that left hip, behind the hamstring, behind the left knee, into the calf, and maybe even into the arch. And maybe if you bring your awareness to your low back, you'll notice the sensation crosses the low back and goes up the right side of the spine with that left leg extended. It's amazing how everything is connected. And just the slightest amount of tension can make all the difference. It doesn't take a lot. So at any time while we're practicing these moments of social distancing, and even when we get to the other side of this, which we will eventually, one or all of these shapes are places that you can come if you're feeling anxious and you need to just tap into that nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. It just helps us to calm down. And we move away from fight or flight, and we move into rest and digest. We'll start to deepen the breath. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And we begin to push ourselves up to an upright position. And we'll take that right leg and extend it long beside the left leg. And then we'll come onto our backs. Taking both feet onto the mat with the knees extended, with the knees up. We'll grab onto that left foot, bringing the left knee towards the left armpit. And that right leg can stay bent, or you may have the flexibility to extend the right leg long. Our target area is the left hip. So if you're feeling something in the left hip, or even the right inner thigh, then you're doing the shape. So I demonstrate the shapes so you can have an idea of how to get into them, but each one of these will look different in your body than it does in my body, because our bodies are beautifully unique and beautifully different. And we never want to try to fit our bodies into the perfect pose or the perfect shape. We make the shape fit our bodies. We've got about 20 seconds left on this side. And so we can slowly bring that left ankle and cross it over the right knee. And you may want to hang out right here. But if you like a little bit more tension, we can lift that right leg and thread our arms through to hold on to the back of the right hamstring. And we'll let that right lower leg just bend at the knee. So once again, the target area is that right hip. And so one of the good things about getting some hip action today, in addition to the physical benefits, energetically, we believe that we hold lots of emotion in our hips. So in some of my classes, I talk about traditional Chinese medicine and the meridians that run through our body. And when we go into these shapes, we tap into different energy centers of our body. And so that's where the belief comes from, that we work in the hip area, we're tapping into those energy centers that can be very emotional for us as humans. About 20 seconds left. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale, really letting that right thigh push against the legs. And then we can release the bundle of leg back down to the mat. And then we take the bundle of leg and just let it fall to the right. And we take our arms and stretch them out into a letter T. Maybe put that right hand on top of that left thigh. And we'll settle in this twist. Noticing the quality of the breath. You can say silently to yourself, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Thoughts begin to pop up, acknowledge them. We can't get rid of our thoughts. We just want to be with them. And then come back to the breath. So start to deepen the breath. Taking a deep inhale through the nose and exhale it fully. And you can begin to bring that whole bundle of leg towards the center, unwinding the legs, putting the feet on the mat with the knees up. And maybe we windshield wiper left to right. And then maybe we bring the knees to the chest, give ourselves a big hug, massaging that low back. And from here, we're going to begin to transition into our final pose of the evening, which is Shavasana. So please put on your socks if you haven't already. Find that blanket. Maybe take a small blanket or a towel and just place it at the base of the spine to support the head. And as you begin to recline onto the mat, really allow the shoulder blades to snuggle underneath of you. And give yourself permission to just get cozy. Bring your awareness to all the parts of your back body that are connecting to the mat and to the floor. Release through the soles of the feet. Release through the ankles. Relax through the calves and the shins. Let the hips melt into the mat. Release the belly to allow the breath to move freely through your abdomen. Relax the chest and the shoulders. Let the arms be heavy. Relax the hand and the fingers. Allow yourself to release through the shoulders, the chest, and the neck. Allow your tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth. Releasing the jaw, and maybe opening the mouth just a little bit. Release the forehead. Relax the wrinkles between our eyebrows. And allow yourself to be here now. In this moment, letting your practice integrate, come together. There's no striving. There's no place to be. And there's no expectation. So start to bring your awareness back into the room. You may begin to touch your thumb with each finger one at a time. Maybe we start to do some wrist circles, point flex the feet, ankle circles. Begin to wake up the body. And maybe it might feel good to take a nice morning stretch or bring the knees to the chest. And I invite you to roll onto your left side and take the pose of a sleeping child just for a moment. This pose of a sleeping child is that liminal space in between your practice and everything else that's waiting for you this evening and tomorrow. And as you rest in this very safe shape, I'll share this poem by Thich Nhat Hanh. Our true home is not in the past. Our true home is not in the future. Our true home is in the here and now. Life is available only in the here and now, and it is our true home. It is present in every moment of your life. There are those of us who are alive but don't know it. But when you breathe in and you are aware of your breath, you touch the miracle of being alive. So I invite you to push yourself up to an upright position. And if it's comfortable for you, I invite you to keep the eyes closed or cast down so you can stay within your own practice just for a moment longer. Maybe we take one hand on the heart and then take the other hand and place it softly on top of that hand. And bring your awareness back to that one thing that you were grateful for as we began our practice today. Bring it back into your mind's eye. Reflect on it. And hold on to it. And let it be an anchor for you in moments of stress or anxiety. I invite you to bring your hands to heart center, pressing the palms slightly together, letting the thumb rest softly against your chest. Thank you for allowing me to lead you through your practice today. I'm honored by your presence. Continue to do your part for social distancing so we can begin to really flatten the curve. We are responsible to each other during this global crisis that we find ourselves in. May you be well, may you be loved, and may you be safe. Namaste.